Go to u2america.com, enter your zip code, and if your local cable company does not carry the premier social media TV network, then tell them they need to get a little U2 America cool faux show. Let them know. I am Dr. Gina. Palestinians called for another day of rage today, and violence broke out across Israel again today, and Joseph's tomb was trending today after the Palestinians set fire to the ancient burial place of Joseph. And many of you out there in social media were outraged, as you should be. We've seen many ancient sites now just completely desecrated recently across the Middle East, and our Israel expert, Barry Nussbaum, here to discuss. Barry, if we continue down the path that we are going in America, is this what we can expect? And if so, what is your projection as to how long that would be before those sorts of days of rage would start happening in America, where our buildings are just systematically destroyed?
Great surprise question. I'm thrilled you asked.
Barry tries to get me to give him my questions before the segment, and I never will. That's the
and you always surprise me. But you know what? That's the question of the day, and it's going to last 15 months and a couple of days.
But I mean, is it, though?
No, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why it is.
Well, but let me ask you just one follow-up to this before I let you answer, because on The View today, as you may have seen, they were asking Ann Coulter, and it sounded about illegal immigration, and it sounded as if they have no concept whatsoever. I mean, there's such a division. When the Democrat debates took place the other night, and their #1 security risk to them is climate change.
Right.
Are you and I just paranoid?
No, I think it's a perfect question. I'm so glad you asked it, and I can tell you the date it's going to change, and that's the inauguration of the next president of the United States, even if it's a Democrat. And here's why. Today, in a press conference, the president, when he appeared with the leaders of South Korea, was asked repeatedly by reporters who didn't want to talk about Korea. They wanted to talk about what's happening in Israel, what happened to Joseph's tomb. It's a sacred site to Jews, Christians, and Muslims, and they burned it down.
Right.
And what did the president say? Both sides should refrain from violence. For 3 days, the State Department's been asked, what can you tell us about what's going on in Israel? And the incredibly insane comments are, both sides need to step away from the violence. Josh Earnest, the president's press secretary, made a completely inane comment on the same subject matter. It's coming from the top, Dr. Gina. The White House is saying both sides need to refrain from violence. Well, here's the violence. There's a radical Muslim preacher, Mohammed Salah, in Gaza, that's been giving sermons that you can watch on YouTube if you want to. They're translated, where he says, the Quran says, as Muhammad did, find, track down, and kill the Jew. And this is the kind of knife you use as dictated in the Quran, and then he teaches them how to do it. That call for genocide has been picked up, get this, by the president of the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas, Abu Mazen, who has made numerous comments in the last 2 weeks about spilling sacred blood in Jerusalem to take back the Muslim sites. Now, Muslim sites that he cites that he wants defended, the Temple Mount, where the temple was, Jesus was there, and get this, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, maybe the holiest site in Christendom, where Jesus was taken down from the cross, he declares is a Muslim site. He's inciting mass murder. So today, yesterday, the day before, there's hundreds of videos now of Palestinian young men running down the streets with that sacred knife, killing men, women, children, anybody they can find.
But Barry, what can stop this? I mean, really, what can stop this? I mean, is this a situation where you think that Netanyahu should have a specific action on these people? Do you think he will?
Well, let's imagine it this way. We're in Southern California. If this was happening, say, in Los Angeles or San Diego on main streets, you would see 10,000 troops armed with weapons and bulletproof vests shooting to kill anybody with a knife. The Israelis are being constrained by world opinion that is saying both sides need to step back. You know, there was a joke, sort of a joke, after 9/11, where the Arab press was mischaracterizing 9/11. And the joke was, the way it was reported in the Arab press and in Europe, 10 Arab men killed in plane crashes today in the United States. Those Arab men were the hijackers.
Wow.
Well, that's the same mischaracterization that's going on in Israel. Men, women, and children walking in the streets are being attacked with knives, guns, and car bombs. Or, in the case yesterday of a crazy Muslim ran into a bus stop and mowed down 3 or 4 people, and the ones that didn't die, he hacked to death. It's on cam. You can see it on the internet. If there was an aggressive response from the rest of the world, Israel wouldn't feel constrained to have 10,000 troops on the street.
So within the confines that Benjamin Netanyahu finds himself, what can he do? What will he do?
He was speaking today that the gloves are coming off, that they are no longer going to worry about public opinion. He's not going to travel the world screaming, hey, please report this and be aware of the genocide that's happening. He's going to put troops on the street, which is police and the army, until it stops.
How do you win in the court of public opinion when the Palestinians are repeatedly faking, at least that's what many of us are led to believe who are on this side of the political argument, faking these deaths and slaughters of their people?
You're pointing out something that was just trending all over the internet. The Palestinian Authority was talking about a young man, a teenager, who was killed by Israeli troops. He's in Hadassah Hospital, where he confessed to attacking several people with a knife. He's not even dead. They should have killed him, and they captured him instead. What's restraining Israel is the leader of world opinion in the free world, which is the United States. And the spokesman for the United States is the President of the United States, who is working very, very hard, Gina, to undermine the relationship between Israel and the United States. And that's why I said to open the program on your first question, until he's gone, I expect more of this insane equilibrium in his mind where both sides are at fault. That's completely fallacious. And I tell you, when I think about it, it makes my blood boil.
Barry, will Israel survive until the end of this presidency?
Absolutely, because there's now calls from the West Bank to stop it. It's ruining their economy. It's killing their kids. They want the kids off the street because they're afraid more of them are going to take up arms, with this incredible cry coming out of all of the mosques. Kill the Jew, it's in the Quran. Kill the Jew, that's what Muhammad says. And they're following that dictate, Dr. Gina. They need restraint, and they need public opinion to switch. And if the President of the United States is leading the other side, condemning both sides, they've got a license to kill.
Well, Barry Nussbaum, we'll be watching that absolutely for sure. Now.